Yay. Hi, Lisa.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
You look so zen with your salt lamp behind you and all the
Trying.
things. I love it. I mean, it makes sense.
I kind of eat, sleep, and breathe this stuff. So every decision I make, it's like, well, where do I want this energy to go?
I am so, like, if you could see my desk right now, you'd be like, girl, you are way out of alignment. But you know what? That's what I need for today. I just told you my in-laws just left. My father-in-law left yesterday. My mother-in-law left today. Like, I need to reorg.
Hmm.
But we're going to
Hmm.
talk all about this, the energy in the home.
Yeah.
We're all about the feng shui today. So tell us what you do, and then let's
Mm.
find out how you ended up doing it. How did you get
Mm.
here?
So I'm a holistic interior designer. I've done interior design for 25 years, and for about the past 15 years, have really moved into this space of holistic design and feng shui. I've studied feng shui extensively. I have trained in four different styles of feng shui, four different certifications. I became a master teacher of interior alignment about 2 years ago. So
Wait, I didn't even
yes.
know there were four different styles of feng shui.
So, kind of like I always compare it to like yoga. Yoga has hatha and vinyasa and all these different schools or sects, and so does feng shui. Over
Wow.
time, I mean, it's over 4,000 years old. So, of course, over time, things are going to morph and shift into different approaches. But the key is that the goal is the same: to bring harmony to your environment, which then brings harmony to your life.
Oh my gosh. So, how did feng shui become a thing?
How did it become a thing? Because it's powerful.
Yeah, I mean, but how did people even figure that out, enough to make it a practice that became a name called feng shui, right?
Sure. So in ancient China, 4,000 years ago, they were actually in southern China trying to find the most auspicious, respectable place to bury their ancestors.
Hmm.
And so they started exploring like how would it feel if they were, there's a mountain, there's a river, there's a valley, right? And they wanted to put them in the most wonderful space to honor them. And then it kind of grew from there.
How would they figure that out? I
I mean,
mean, they were like, not this way, not this way, this way.
so something that I do every day now, current day with my clients is put them in the command position. So putting your body in the command position is incredibly powerful. And this is essentially what they were doing. So you want to
Wow.
have a solid wall behind you, or in their case, a mountain, and a valley below. So they could see their enemies coming. Right. So on maybe your home office or on your sofa, you want a solid wall behind you and an open view of the door. This puts your nervous system at ease and puts your body at ease.
So your position right now, this solid wall behind you is ideal. What are you looking at other than your screen?
There is a wall on the other side of the room, but
Okay.
there's pretty much that. The
Yeah.
door, because this is a podcasting studio,
Yes.
it's not
Yes.
a big office space.
Yes.
Kind of course, certain spaces you have to make it work. So
Right.
the door is off to my side, but
Okay.
there's some different things I do with patterns and other things to bring comfort, to bring a sense of peace. So if you can't be in that command position, and I always say, no house, no one is doomed. There's
Right.
there's always a
Okay.
solution
Good.
to
Good.
help you feel better.
Good. So how did you gravitate towards this?
Hmm. I was not in this world at all of energy work, of anything like this. I went to interior design school. I was doing traditional residential design. I loved design. I loved beautiful things, and I loved luxurious light fixtures and fabrics and all that. And then I stumbled into my dream job. I was designing private jet interiors for several years, working on the most luxurious projects with the most outrageous clients. And it was fantastic. I got to touch materials and work with materials that I never would have had the opportunity and work on very special projects. Um, I did this for several years, and then I hit burnout.
Hmm.
After about 7 years of nonstop travel, I kind of said, like, my job was my life. I was single for most of it. I married my husband towards the end and I was like, gosh, it'd be nice to buy a concert ticket and actually get to go and not have to be jumping on a plane to go somewhere. And it was great until I hit that burnout. It was a blend of the stress, the travel, the intensity, because you had clients, they want what they want. You have to figure out how to make whatever material fit into a plane that has to be incredibly flame retardant. It has to be able to move and shift because planes shift as they take off and they move and they shift differently in shape. Um, Flame retardant restrictions, sound absorption, was the thing. Everything had to be light, like such tight FAA restrictions and things. Plus my own perfectionism, which I learned about the
Yeah.
hard way.
Yeah.
So I hit burnout
Mm.
pretty good. I was in a really tough spot. I was still doing the job, but sneaking in the closet to have a panic attack, right? Or running out to my car because I couldn't breathe or things like that. And so there is a time that I decided this had to come to an end. And so during this time, I'm working on healing myself and doing all the things. I started yoga, I started meditating, I started walking every day, doing therapy, all the things. But there was still something missing. And it's funny because as a designer, my home was photo shoot ready. It was
Hmm.
beautiful, but I realized it wasn't supporting me. It
Mm.
wasn't supporting me in this healing process. It wasn't supporting me when I was so stressed out. Um, you always look back and you're like, oh, if only I knew then what I know now. But like the
Hindsight is always
colors,
2020. We always,
right?
right? We always learn this the hard way.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah.
But the colors, the patterns, the everything was not what I needed at that time. And so I started studying Feng Shui. I started studying holistic approach to design and then Feng Shui and started training in it. And I was doing these things to my own home and having amazing results, just little shifts, right? Adjusting a routine of mine just a bit or bringing a color into a certain room and yeah, it just became this amazing experience. And now I started implementing into my design work. And now that's primarily most of my design work is all, it might be design, it might be feng shui with some design work or simply feng shui.
Hmm.
Um, but it's such an honor now to get to help and work with a lot of people who maybe have been in a similar experience or going through something difficult. So it's been really great.
I love this. So, where does one start with this? Because I think it feels very overwhelming to people for whom this is not innate.
Mhm,
But I also think there are, like you said, there are small things that you can do to make really incremental changes that
mhm.
have a big impact. So, where does one
Yeah.
start? And, like, I guess, do you start with, like, I want to change my health. What things do I implement? I want to change my mental load. What things, like, how do
Mm.
you figure out which thing you should start with?
Well, I always say to just become friends with your home. That's the very first thing I'd recommend you do. Become friends with your home. Sit in a room without a phone, without anything going on, and just observe and just see because we go through our lives. We're so busy. We have everything going on. And our homes just kind of become a blur. We don't even realize what's there. So when we can like really actually look at it with fresh lenses, or if you really struggle with this, take some photos. Does it look like a home that's supportive of someone who's wanting to do whatever, right? So this is just the very first step. And then we can kind of go in two directions. One is there are amazing, quick, fun tips. My podcast is all like 20-minute episodes of go home and do this today because this is easy and you can do it, right? There are tips online, fun things you can do, and it's powerful. Like if you do it with intention, it can be really big. There's the other side. If you want a big transformation in your life, you have to dive in a little more. And this requires having someone who's incredibly knowledgeable look at your entire space because tips and things are great, but to make big shifts, say you live in a condo and have one dog and no partner, and you work from home every day and blah, blah, blah. This is your lifestyle, right? And your best friend who lives in a two-story home in suburbia with three cats and a partner and four kids, right? Your home environment is different, the exterior area around is different, and your lifestyle is different. So it's important to dive in and look at your specific space if you really do want big shifts, but not to disregard the little things because they're really great. And it's a lot of fun too.
Mm. I'm trying to think about, because we're talking about women's wellness. I know for me personally, and I talk about this all the time, my mental health is extremely impacted by the physical state of my home.
Mhm.
Um, and sometimes I don't have the time to do all of the things that I want to do. I've also heard like putting little mirrors in certain places, or like I see that you have your salt lamp, or putting little crystals in the window. Like, what are little ways?
Mhm.
Things like that, like little trinkets, implementations. What are those little sort of external things that I can
Mhm.
do to help my mental health in when I don't have the time to do a big
Mhm.
overhaul?
The biggest thing I would say is clear the surfaces. This doesn't require you to buy anything or invest in anything, a salt lamp or anything. It's to
Yes.
clear those horizontal surfaces because especially the counters, that's right in front of you. That's where your eyes go. That's where your eyes land, right? So while there are fun adjustments that we can do, implement this, add this here, it's also just being aware of what our space looks like. Can we clear that surface, refresh it? I think there's nothing more fulfilling than taking a messy counter with maybe some dishes and mail and paperwork, completely clearing it.
Yes. But where do we put all
Clearing,
the stuff? Where do we put it? That's the problem.
I know. And that is a thing. So many busy women are overwhelmed.
Hmm.
And something I've learned that I encourage a lot of people to do is get some help.
Yeah.
You can't do it all. I know so many of you want to do it all. I know I can lean in that, and I should be able to maintain my house and do everything, but even if it's someone to come in once in a while and help you reorganize a couple drawers, or
Hmm.
maybe that's someone, a young person who needs some extra cash and you're like, "Hey, organize my closet," right? This can really help. So, give yourself some grace. Gosh, just ask
Yeah.
for the help.
Yes. I just recently did this. It was like a luxurious treat to myself. I've recently had somebody come and help me tidy and organize, and she's amazing. Then when she gets here, I sometimes don't even know where to have her start.
I have an answer.
Okay, good. I need it.
So I use what's an ancient map called a Bagua map when I do a deep dive into a home. And we look at these different energy centers of your home. And I kind of compare it to yoga, right? We have the chakra system, and it's kind of similar to that. And what's really cool about this map is if I overlay this over your home, and the centermost area, if you can locate the centermost area. So if you were a bird in the sky looking down, where would that be? Love on that area. Because following this energy map, that area connects to every other energy center in the home. So by
Mm,
default, if you love on that center area, it's going to expand, it's going to spread, it's going to emanate out. So sweep the floors, tidy up, dust, wipe anything down, and then enhance. Bring in a beautiful bouquet of flowers. I
mm.
love to gift flowers to my home. That's a beautiful offering for your home. Add something decorative, bring in some new artwork, anything to just kind of zhuzh up this area.
Let's talk about this bagua because
Mhm.
I've heard about this bagua in Feng
Mhm.
Shui. What
Mhm.
is the bagua, and does everyone's home fit into some version of a bagua? Or does the
So
bagua fit into everyone's version of a home? How does
yeah,
it
it can
work?
get messy. That's typically when people reach out because they're like, "Oh my gosh!" So Bagua means 8 sections, and then there's like this ninth gua or section in the center, and it can be really tricky with no one's home is a perfect well, once in a while it's a perfect rectangle, but it's not common, right? We have L-shaped homes I just worked on. We have different areas that jut out and a garage that extends. And so this can be really tricky. Um, but when you can figure out some basics, I do offer a free 15-minute discovery call if people want to like, I'm stuck. We can go from there. But it's a really powerful tool because then once you know certain areas of your home and certain energy centers, you can enhance that. You can use that. I hate the word manifestation lately. I feel like it's so overused and so, but you can use that then. One of my favorite parts of the work is to add cues into your home. So if you were looking to meet a new partner, a new love of your life, right? We would find that energy center and then we'd bring in some symbolism, maybe some artwork, maybe certain colors or certain patterns into that area to get growth and to bring that to fruition. You also have a wealth and abundance energy center. So if you're looking to make more money. So when I work with a client, I ask about their goals and I always have to laugh a little bit because they're trying to be humble and they're trying to be, easygoing. And well, I just want my house to feel really nice and really zen. And I'm like, no. What do you really want? Like, what do you
Yeah.
want in life? So I have to kind of pull it out, but it's really fun. I mean, I just worked with a woman who her career was really stagnant and she couldn't figure out why. And she kind of worked with Feng Shui and thought she had the Bagua figured out. And it turns out her whole career and life path Gua was missing. It wasn't even there. It wasn't even included in the house because she had an odd shaped home. And so once we were able to learn that alone really helped. And then we brought it into balance and added some different things. And yeah, she even painted her front door, all kinds of fun projects. So I always like to share that doing this work does not require remodels.
Yeah.
It's not a big overhaul. It's not a big, doesn't have to be a big project unless you want it to be. It can be simply shopping your home for certain items.
Okay, what would those items be?
Well, it depends. So,
Okay.
when I'm working with a home, we use the 5 element system. Okay. So fire, water, wood, earth, and metal. And so say we're looking to bring more wealth and abundance into your area. Well, I would bring in the wood element. And then I'd also bring in think of what makes you think of wealth, right? Royal blue, red, purple is like royalty, right? Bring in some of those colors. So maybe a green plant into this area to get growth and renewal. That's the wood element. And then these other colors to bring in that essence of like wealth, right? And luxurious things. I tell you to get a piece of artwork or a decorative bowl or a something that feels so luxurious and place it in that area.
I love that. Okay, and like when somebody said to you, you said when they're like, I want my house to feel zen, and you're like, but what do you really want?
Mm-hmm.
How do we, like, what kinds of things would you prefer to hear? How do we come to those things? Because I think some people really think that's what they want, and they don't know how
Mm-hmm.
to get to the
Mm,
real meaning of what they
yeah,
want,
you're
you know?
right. Yeah. I want to know if you want to make $1 million this year. I
Mm.
want to know if you want a red convertible. I want to know if your relationship with your sister struggles. I want to know if you have a child struggling with something, right? Maybe you're craving connections to your family that, your ancestors, maybe you're just like, gosh, I've been thinking about those Italian pasta recipes and that's really a goal of mine is just to connect with that and my heritage and everything. Um, I recently worked with someone who was looking to get recognized for their work. right? And so we can bring the energy there, right? Sometimes you have to set up and it's just directing energy in certain areas and just kind of like a little light bulb goes off, right? And it kind of wakes up that area. It can be really powerful.
I love it. Okay. In terms of like calling in a new opportunity, are there different things you need to do for like a love opportunity versus a work opportunity versus a, I don't know, or is it just generic new opportunity?
Well, it can be generic, but
Mm-hmm.
if I were working, I'd want to go deeper, right? So
Mm-hmm.
because then we can bring it to fruition faster. But here's the quick overall if you're looking to bring something into your life, right? Well,
Mm-hmm.
first of all, we need to make space. So
Mm-hmm.
release, clear clutter, get rid of stuff that's no longer serving you to make
Mm-hmm.
space for something new to come in. Like if you're looking for a new romance, a new love in your life, literally clear out a drawer to make space for them. Okay, so number one is we need to make space. But here is my other quick fun tip, I guess.
Okay.
In Feng Shui, the front door is very powerful and very important. We call this the mouth of qi. This is where energy comes into your home. So often we use the garage. So, we come and go from a garage, right? And we don't use that front door. So if you don't use your front door, this is your cue to start doing that today.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Get the front door moving, get it opening and closing. Make sure the lock isn't sticky. Make sure it opens easily. Wipe down any glass, windows. Add a fresh mat.
Mm.
Add a beautiful welcome sign. Check in that the lighting's refreshed. Sweep off the front step, right? Just really love on this area and get the door moving. I always say come up with a plan.
Okay.
So, like, walk the dog every day from this door, or go on your evening walk every day from this door. Something routine to get you into using it more. Getting this more will allow more to come into your life.
And I'm just thinking, like, I have kids who leave the front door a mess, and I'm always like, I literally just invested in a different kind of shoe rack
Ooh.
on wheels instead of having to shove constantly and have it be a mess. It now comes out so that we can keep it neat and organized and then move it back in it, right? Because I'm like, this investment will be better than therapy for me because it gives me like so much peace of mind. And it's really working better, but it was like a solution to this insane problem. Are there other ways to systematize, like for kids who leave a mess at the front door? I'm thinking specifically because that is one of my big anxiety points.
Mm-hmm. I love to recommend organizers.
Hmm.
A custom organizing system for closets, for mudrooms. A lot of people think these companies just come in and put shelves in and do all that. The really good ones will come in and count how many pairs of shoes you have, right?
Mm.
I have a friend that works for a company and she'll measure the height of the heels so she knows
Oh,
in the
wow.
master closet, what type of shelving needs to happen, right? So these people are really great. Set up the systems, get organized as much as you can. Invest in those things like the specialty shoe rack because it will come back. It will bring you a sense of ease. Because what's worse than walking in at the end of a long day and you just want to feel like you're at home and instead it's overwhelm, it's anxiety,
Yes.
it's just not great. I want you to walk in and your shoulders drop and you can take a big breath and you can go, "Yes, I'm home."
It's really funny. When I was dating my now husband, he had me for dinner with some friends, and one of those friends worked in feng shui. And he walked into my husband's bedroom, and my husband only had one nightstand. And he was like, "Oh, how long have you been single?" We had like just started dating. And my husband was like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "Well, you only have one nightstand. You can't have a partner if you don't have a nightstand for them on the other side of the bed." And to this day, we say when if my husband does something selfish or if I do something selfish, we'll still say that was such a one night stand kind of
Oh,
move. Isn't that funny? We
I
still, to
love
this day,
that.
we've been married almost 16 years, and we'll still be like, you had such a one night stand in that moment, you know?
That is so cute.
Isn't that
That's
funny?
hilarious. But it is true, right? You
Yeah.
need to make space for that person. Add a nightstand. So if you're looking for a partner, you want to think of pairs. So a
Hmm.
pair of nightstands, a pair of matching lamps, a pair of pillows on the bed, not just one,
Yeah. Or
right?
even there
What does
was
that
somebody had like
symbolize?
a poster above their bed with like a single dancer in it, and they were like, you got to get rid of that.
Yeah, I actually had a client not too long ago who her husband had started a business and he was working really long hours and I was there working on some other spaces and we got to talking and she's like, I just feel so alone. I just
Mm,
feel so alone lately. So we went up to their master bedroom and she had this beautiful painting of this woman standing there all by herself. And that was the first thing she would see when she woke up in the morning. So
mm,
that's setting the tone for her day. So we
mm.
swapped it out for a wedding photo. I
Nice.
always like to say that our homes are telling us who we are, right? It's a mirror, but
Hmm.
then it's also telling us who to be tomorrow. It's telling us who we are. You wake up, what do you see? What do you experience? That's setting the tone for your day
Mm.
and going forward.
What about like eating wise or kitchen wise? Are there tricks that you can give for like making smarter and healthier choices in the kitchen based on feng shui?
Mm. Well, think about everything you do in your home is feng shui, right? Whether you realize it or not, you're bringing something in to your home and it's either sending the energy in a good direction or a not so good direction. So if you're bringing in potato chips and frozen pizzas, the energy is going to go down, right? That's not really quality good food. But if you're bringing in organic fruits, right, and really healthy options, it's going to lift the energy in the kitchen. That alone can be really big. And then if you think about that, then you're obviously going to start making better decisions.
I
I
love
also
that.
think it's important too to, if you can, to cook in the command position.
Mm,
This is something I've played with a lot because I'm not a foodie. I'm not a big cook and I don't know. But I found that if I put myself in the command position while I'm cooking, I enjoy it so much more.
so
Right.
that
So I
would
have
be
this.
the wall behind you.
So I, instead of cooking at the counter like I used to, I now cook at at the center island with the wall
Mm,
behind me.
mm.
And it just makes me feel more comfortable. It makes you feel like you're part of the rest of the household too. So it's just more enjoyable.
Interesting. Okay, so if somebody wants to get started like today on feng shui, where do they start? And then how do they find you
Mhm.
to get going?
To start, I would do number one is find the center of your home. And
Okay.
number two is to love on your front door. If you want to dive deeper, I have my podcast, Feng Shui Living, and they're quick, easy tips. I actually just published a book called Aligned at Home. And I literally wrote this because back in the day, when I was first getting into feng shui, I was ordering some books and I would get one and I found it incredibly confusing. I found it incredibly interesting, but then I'd read another one and it was confusing. And then another one contradicted what the first one said, right? These different schools or sects, just slightly a different approach. And so I wanted to make a book. I wanted to write a book that's clear and works for everyone and explains this whole thing and explains how you, no matter where you're working on it, you can make adjustments. So, yeah, my book is Aligned at Home. It's a little bit of memoir-ish, and I have a lot of client stories in
Hmm.
there and some checklists and journal prompts and ways for you to just get in touch with your home. I want you to become friends with your home. It's not just a box where you crash at the end of the day, right? It's a space that holds you, cares for your family. When you can kind of start to think of it as a friend or a family member and not just that box, it really does shift. And you find yourself, I find more joy in those tasks of wiping down the counter and cleaning it when I know I'm caring for a family member and not just wiping down the counters and doing a chore.
Such a good way to look at it. Thank you so much, Lisa. We're going to link out to all of your stuff, but you've inspired me. I'm going to clean my desk right after we get off of this because I'm like, it's stressing me out just looking at it. And I feel like if it were clear, I would be so much more productive.
I know, but you know what? That's life. My desk gets really messy too. It's just a matter of taking the time to
Yeah.
reset. And here's the thing, every time you have to reset, it's not that you fell off it's not that you had a heart, you messed your whole system up. It gives you this opportunity to recommit to your home, which is a great thing. So recommit.
Which if you're treating it like a person, it's like you things got a little crazy and now you're just telling yourselves you're back in love again.
Yes, I love that.
I love it. Lisa, thank you so much. I love all of this.
Thank you.